Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host, and I'm so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 22nd of October at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And if you're listening to an archive or a replay, I'd also like to welcome you to the show. It's going to be a fun one, I promise. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to your week. We're in this most wonderful time of the year, right? It's autumn. It's getting really close to Halloween. It's so fun. So obviously I need to ask, what are you going to be for Halloween? Are you guys dressing up? Well, or not, and why not? Come over into the chat room and tell me. You can find me in the chat room. If you head over to 12radio.com, that's number 2radio.com, click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. Simple assignment. Now, if you've never joined before, you will want to ask for entry because it is a private group. We try to keep your privacy, at the highest we can in a Facebook group. So you want to ask for entry, but Scott is standing by and he'll gladly let you into the room. I also want to let you know that I am live streaming this event from the chat room. So if you'd rather watch than listen, that would be the way to do so. And you really might want to watch today because we are doing witches' runes. It is that time of year. I do this every year on my show. I've been doing this for many years on this show, right around Halloween time. I love doing this one. Witches' runes are a lot of fun. I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to tell you all about them, and I'm going to read from the chat room. So that's the deal with the show today, a little later in the show when we get on with all of our topics here. So there's a lot going on. Where do I want to start? I guess let's start with Luminous because it's got pretty much everything in there you want to know. I want to tell you guys, I have got so much fun stuff coming up here with 12 Radio. So tomorrow I am a guest on Postcards to the Universe with Melissa Caprio, which I'm super excited about. I adore Melissa and we always have a lot of fun. So we're going to do a show about self-care, health, helping others that are struggling, all along those lines. So kind of a little compassionate service show, I think, and I'm way excited for that. Then next Wednesday, Raven and Melissa are joining forces to do a 2-hour Halloween special, and they have so graciously invited me to return to talk about things that go bump in the night. So I think something along those lines, things that do something. So I'm very excited to be back for that show as well. And then on Halloween evening, I am joining Kelly McLean on Bitchsplainin' to be a part of her show. Also, we're going to be doing some Halloween readings. We're bringing some Halloween treats, maybe some tricks. You know us, probably tricks. And I'm way excited for that too. So lots of radio for me here in the next 2 weeks. And I'm so honored and excited. Maybe somebody got the note that this is my favorite time of year. I don't know, maybe. I've not said it much, so it's hard to say. But let's take a look at Luminous. I put a link in the chat room, but you can find that by heading over to katie-weaver.com and click on Katie's Magazine. You'll find it right there. Of course, this is the weekly publication that I put out with my work and, of course, the work of many of my very talented colleagues. And I'm so excited because it's a great edition. I love it. So if you see the cover, I've done Halloween-y covers in the entire month of October. I've taken lots of creative license to do so, So this one is this funny, it's a bug, like an old VW Beetle with an enormous pumpkin on top. Like it picked it up in the woods and they're hauling it home. I thought that was too cute. So, alrighty. Well, as I said, I'll be a guest with Melissa tomorrow. I called the magazine this week the You Are Nothing Less Than Perfect edition. Why? Well, that's a Pink song, you probably know, and that was what was in my head when I was writing this part of the show, and I thought, that's right, you are nothing less than perfect. And we live in a society that really wants us to be insecure, right? Really wants us to doubt ourselves because we spend a lot of money that way. When we're insecure about our looks, when we're insecure about our bodies, our clothing, our homes, our everything will stop at nothing, right? To fit in, to be like everybody else, to look like the magazine cover. But that's insane. It's insane. You are exactly who you are supposed to be right now, today. If you want to do things to work on yourself, if you want to do things that you like, fine, more power to you. But don't let this crazy world of ours make you think that you're anything less than perfect today, right now. I just am not going to have it. I won't have it. So that's what it's all about. Alrighty. The note from me is, my musings is about witches' runes. So we're going to do witches' runes today. But this is a little more information about witches' runes and some ideas about how to make your own. So I share that with you so that you can get excited and maybe do something fun and crafty for yourselves. And I'm showing off, there's a picture in there of my new runes, and we're going to talk all about them. I'll show you every single one and tell you all about it today. Okay, Kai writes about Pomona. Pomona is sometimes referred to as a goddess, sometimes as a wood nymph, but Pomona is protective. She watches over the flourishing and cultivation of trees. She has a feast day on Halloween, and it's really interesting information. So, right, okay, I was just thinking that. Isn't the word palm or Pomona associated with apples? So I had to look a little further and go, yeah, it is. As usual, Kai has done her research, and she's brought us a great article that is always thought-provoking and always educational. I feel a little smarter by reading Kai's articles, because then I can say to people, did you know that Pomona... Thank you, Kai. You helped me more than you know. Great article. I brought for you my tip of the week. It is my autumn room spray. I love this. In an 8-ounce spray bottle, combine 10 drops of orange essential oil, 5 drops each of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove essential oils, 1 tablespoon of vodka or sea salt. You got to have one or the other. It keeps your water from fouling, and it helps to emulsify the oils. So you don't have to use both, but you got to have one or the other. Some people use witch hazel too, and that's fine. Top it off with warm water, shake well with each use. Your oils will always find their way back to the top, so you got to shake it really well with each use. And for the love of God, do not get this in your eyes or anybody else's, because that would really suck. But this is an awesome autumn room spray. You can also just put those oils together in a little container together, or just in your diffuser. And I've been diffusing that for about a month. Okay, Dr. Elisa is doing something really fun with her column right now. She's bringing us a few paragraphs from her book, The Way of the Well. So last week she brought us the first installment. This is the second one. It's really fun. Make sure that you read it, because I'm telling you, it's going to make you want to go buy the book and read it, or at least keep following the column and reading it. But if you're reading things that are getting your attention, let them know. Let the authors know. It's always fun to hear that somebody wrote something that resonated and hit home. Alrighty. So Christy brings us her Energy Oracle card. This week she brought Metatron. Metatron is, of course, an archangel. Metatron is a very powerful angel that some people don't like to work with, and some people really like to work with, but he's not rainbow, sunshine, and butterfly. He's a kind of being or master that will cut straight through the bullshit and tell you how it is. So if that's what you want, that's what you need. If you need kid gloves, probably not. We all need one of the other sometimes, right? All right, the primary message from Metatron is truth revealed, integrity, seek answers, solar plexus, and acceptance of truth. The challenge would be deception, envy, backstabbing, and avoidance. The crystal is Amazonite, and the meditation is, Dear Archangel Metatron, please show me what is true, expose deception, and guide me in accepting truth. Lovely. I love it, I love it. Elizabeth's cosmic strip this week is so sweet. She says our loved ones in spirit are only a thought away, and it is Angel Beth with all of these outlines behind her of her loved ones in spirit. I thought that was lovely. Melissa Caprio says in her postcard, I can, I will, end of story. I have felt this way with my kids many times. They have felt that way with me many times. It's how it is. Chris Ann says, life is tough, darling, but so are you. This is, of course, her This Intuitive Life article. And I loved what she had to say. A lot of good tips about how to pull yourself up out of a dark place. She provides some information about how to access the suicide prevention lifeline if you need it, how to recognize when you're in a dark place and work on it. Really important work and important words. So thank you, Chrisanne. Taya brings us her weekly chakra scope and a video along with, which is lovely because she's bringing us her chakra scopes. She's bringing us some sound therapy. It's perfect. Thank you, Taya. Our crystal guidance, of course, from Christy is the Amazonite, beautiful blue stone of truth. Jenny's article is called Going Deeper Towards Samhain. She said, for much of my life, I have been aligned with ancient teachings connected with nature. I loved what she said. Jenny, it's exactly the way I feel about Samhain and this time of year. This is like, it's what's in my soul. You too, I know. I love it. That's why we are such kindred spirits. Read her article. You'll see what I mean. Alrighty, Anita brings us the goddess Vesta. Vesta is known as the goddess of hearth and home. I was happy to see this one because Vesta is my goddess. She's the one I resonate with so deeply. So I loved it. Thank you, Anita, for bringing her to us this week. Kelly brings us bitch scopes for the week. She said, this week looks to be intense. I don't make the news, I just report it, so don't shoot the messenger. But there is some juicy goodness possible here. Yipes. Well, we're entering Scorpio, right? And I said this yesterday on 1-2 News, but I live with 2 Scorpios, so it's going to be quite the ride for me, probably. I mean that all in the very best ways. Pray for me. But no, it's fine. It's probably fine. Anyway, I loved what she said. Keep reading on in her article about us moving into Scorpio season. We are in for a ride, and hopefully it is a marvelous one. I'm going for it. Marvelous. All right, Julie's Gems. Julie brings us her card from the week called Freedom to Launch. I loved it. She makes her cards, of course, as a part of the Soul Collage project that she's doing, and it's really fun. All righty. And that is Luminous this week. So I hope that you found some gems, some things to make you think. And if you want to subscribe to Luminous, just head over to katie-weaver.com. You'll get a little pop-up there that you can subscribe to and receive the Daily Dish, which is something that I send out every single day. And do you guys get it? I think most of you do. But I send out the Daily Dish every morning. And it is a daily read of the energy. It's not always the same. Sometimes I feel like it is a daily read of the energy of the day. Sometimes I feel like it's more of a warning. Sometimes I feel like it's more of a cheerleading session. I just do what I'm told. So the Daily Dish for today, for example, there is a powerful high frequency vibe afoot that should help you to feel empowered and capable today. You are doing a good job at this thing called life. If you encounter any mountains higher than you can climb alone, reach out to trusted friends or coworkers for support. On the flip side, look for every opportunity to support others today. Remember that when you empower someone else's dreams, you also empower your own. So of course, in reading that aloud, I caught the typo. Yep, I got it. Hep. Nice. It's fine. I'm sure it was implied. But that was the Daily Dish for today. I also had included an Emerson quote. Our chief want is someone who will inspire us to be what we know we could be. And honestly, you can be that person for others around you. You can be that person that helps others to see who they can be. What an honor, right? I'm going to put a link to the Daily Dish in the chat room if you'd like to check it out and see what it looks like. But again, if you head over to katie-weaver.com, you can subscribe. So easy enough. Pardon me. Okay. There we go. All righty. Where do we go from here? Well, I think let's go ahead and do a little sound therapy. I do feel like we need it. I feel like what I've been hearing from some of you guys is that you feel like your light is kind of dim. Have you been feeling that way? Like your light's a little dim? I've been hearing it. Like you're just not quite yourself. You're just not quite as bright as you'd like to be. You're not quite as perked up as you'd like to be. You know, all of the fun stuff. So if that's how you're feeling, I do really want to help you to brighten up. And so I want to do that with singing bowls. That's a great way to do it. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to turn up your own light. So I'm using a crystal bowl, and this bowl is a solar plexus bowl. I'm going to play the bowl. We're going to do it in two parts. The first part of this is just an opportunity for you to allow anything that you're carrying in your solar plexus that doesn't need to be there to clear out. So we're going to hold space for that first. Pretty easy. And then I'm going to play it again. And the second time I play it, I would like you to allow the frequency of the singing bowl to turn up your light, right? You know those light switches that you turn and it turns up the wattage? That's what I'm thinking about. We're turning up the wattage. We're brightening up your light, right? Okay, sorry. Tea break. I have to tell you, I was in Boise this weekend for a football, oh my God, for a football game. I'll get there. But I have to tell you about the game. But I know so many of you love football. Some of you do. But besides that, I bought this awesome tea. It is an Earl Grey. It was a Victorian Earl Grey. It has, you know, all the Earl Greyness, but it also has lavender and rose petals. And oh my gosh, is it good. I can't get enough of it. So of course, right before the show, my poor producer is, as usual, having his pre-show jitters because he knows I'm going to make him late because I just can't help it. But today it was because I was making tea. But I need you to do my show well, right? That's what I thought. Okay, let's get back to the bowl. So here it is. So again, the first time, all I want you to do is just allow the frequency of the singing bowl to clear out anything in your solar plexus that's no longer serving you. Now, your solar plexus, of course, is that chakra right above your... That's what we're talking about. Okay, so starting there... Now, going back to your solar plexus, I'm going to play the bowl again. This time we are going to allow the frequency of the singing bowl to turn up your wattage, brighten up your light from your belly, really turning into a searchlight, a spotlight, a lighthouse light, a high wattage bulb, however you want to see it, but really amping up your light. So here we go. So there you go. Light turned up. Increasing your confidence, increasing your personal power. You might be a little more stubborn. Who knows? Maybe you need to be. You can let me know what that did for you. All right, I'm going to take a quick peek here into the chat room. And then we'll keep moving. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my weekend a little bit. Only because it's just so exciting. And so I talked about this on 1-2 News a little yesterday too, but as you guys know, my son plays football for the College of Idaho, and he's a redshirt freshman, so he doesn't play much, but you know, he practices hard and he's on the team, and this is his team, so right, it doesn't matter. For some reason, I have a block, and I think that other people do too, that it's like, unless you're a starter, it doesn't matter, but that's just couldn't be further from the truth. And every one of these kids go to every morning lift, and they go to every meeting, and they attend every game, and they do everything, and they keep their grades up, and every one of those kids is as important as the next. But I don't know. There's one this week that was probably more important than anyone else. You'll hear my story. So these kids are ranked, this team is ranked 8th in the nation right now out of 250 teams. So it's a big deal. And they hopefully, you know, if they can keep rolling, they'll go to nationals this year for, I don't think the first time in program history, but they've never been in the top 10 in program history. So to be ranked 8th, and actually now they're ranked 7th, but it's just exciting stuff. So we went down to the game. We always go to the home games, and it was a really rough game, really rough. It was just really interesting with the officials. They didn't call anything. It's not like they were unfair on one side or the other. They didn't call anything. In an entire football game, they called 3 penalties. Which, if you don't know football, that doesn't mean anything. But if you do watch football, you're dying right now, because 3 penalties is nothing. Nothing. So it was weird. It was just weird trying to figure out why was this happening. And the coaches on both sides were just fit to be tied. But, you know, they just let them play ball. Anyhow, it was a really rough game for us. This team has been blowing teams out by more than 40 points most of the season. We got down to 1 minute left in the game, and the score was 13-6 us with 1 minute left in the game. And the other team made it into the red zone, and with 28 seconds left in the game, they scored. So there's 28 seconds left in the game. It is 14-13. We're just about to lose an extremely important game. And so we had 2 timeouts and 28 seconds to make some kind of magic happen. So our quarterback started throwing short passes. What they do is if you get outside, it stops the clock. So he was throwing short passes to the outside, and then this receiver would get the ball and get straight to the outside. And honestly, the other team wasn't working very hard to prevent those passes because they won, right? 28 seconds. Well, 2 seconds left in the game, and we are basically, we're going to attempt a 58-yard field goal. So in football, in college, most kickers kick somewhere around a 30 to a 40-yard field goal. The farthest NFL field goal in history is a 64-yard field goal. And here we are, this little NAIA college has the nerve to think that they can kick a 58-yard field goal. It was just a last-ditch attempt to make something happen. So we get up, we get lined up, our kicker goes, into position. He takes a deep breath, he gives it everything he's got, and by God, he did it. A 58-yard field goal. The kids on the other team literally fell on the field. They couldn't even get up. They couldn't even believe it happened. They had just upended the number 8 team in the nation, and then they didn't. We won. It was shocking, astonishing. The energy, because one of the things I love the most about sports is the energy of everything. The players, the fans, the officials, the stadium itself, the coaches, and the energy was unbelievable. That place came apart. These fans were storming the field. It was just unreal. And so unheard of. Anyway, so they won. And Scott and I both agreed that our hearts hadn't stopped racing for, quite a long time after the game ended. But So they moved from 8 to 7 in the nation, and we'll see how they do. We can't have another game like that. It's got to get better. But that was a tough team, though. They were ranked 19. I mean, it's not like they were small potatoes. They're not, but whew. Anyway, so that was what my weekend was about. I think I've caught my breath now, but it was pretty close. Yikes. Anyway, so that's why I was in Boise, and that's where I got the specialty. So anyway, that's my fancy life. All right. I have such a fun show and tell. So I'm going to show you my new runes. I made these over the weekend. This was the other thing I did this weekend. I made runes, and I made them out of organite. So I've been showing you some organite pieces and talking about them. So I thought, what if I could make runes out of organite? Wouldn't that be cool? So I did. I'm going to show them to you. We'll just go piece by piece so that I can tell you what they are and why. And you guys can't see it, but I have a little pig next to me that won't leave me alone. Ever since I sang the singing bowl, he's been in my office, pressed up against my leg, well, he is intending, but mostly insisting on me rubbing his ears. So you can say hi to Zig. You can't see him, but he's down there, insisting on his loves. All right, so I'm going to show you the runes. What I did, I cast them out of resin, of course. And I'm hoping, I don't know, let me figure out how to hold them the best so you can see them. Just don't want to focus very well. I cast them out of resin, and what I did is I wire wrapped the symbols. And that was hard because I don't know how to wire wrap. So this was a brand new adventure, and I did my best, and I think they turned out actually really good. But anyhow, so it's kind of fun. And the stones inside, by the way, are tourmaline. So it's a mix of tourmaline. So there's green, pink, black, yellow. There's a lot of different kinds of tourmaline. Tourmaline's a really cool stone. Mm-hmm. So that's what they're all about. So we're gonna go rune by rune. I'm gonna tell you what the rune is all about. So there's only 13 runes in a witch's rune set. So this is the flight rune. So the flight rune is about movement, communications and information, and travel of all kinds. Okay, I didn't really show you too, but there's more copper on the back. So, you know, the way organite itself is powerful is through the suspension of crystals and metals in close proximity with pressure. So that's why they're suspended in resin, because they will forever be in pressure. Okay, that was the waves. This is, the moon. So this is the moon rune. I have a couple more of these in progress, by the way, that'll be on my website for sale, but frankly, I think they're better. I really like these for me, but the symbols I think are a little tough to see. So I revamped what I was doing for the website. But the moon, long-term changes are coming, transition and changes, hidden agendas, secrets, imagination, and feminine energies. The moon. When I was a kid, they would always refer to the man in the moon, and it didn't make sense to me. It never resonated to me that the moon was male. And then when I studied years ago with Bride Owl, with the grandmother that I studied with for years and years, she would refer to her as Grandmother Moon, and it all made sense to me. Of course, Grandmother Moon, that's who she is. Interesting. All right. This is the romance rune. Love and relationships, deep emotional connections, soulmates, and harmony. Okay. The rings. The rings rune means circumstances that connect people, combining different elements to create something new. That's what we are talking about or thinking about when the rings come up. All right. Oh, the star. Go after what you want, your life purpose. Look to, am I holding that in a way you can even see it? No. Jeez. Okay. Sorry. Okay, go after what you want, your life purpose. Look to the runes closest to the star for clues, inspiration from others, being yourself and being accepted for you, and freedom. The star can actually mean freedom. Okay, the eye. All right, the eye is lifting the veil, seeing truth, focusing on something. Look at the facing runes for clues, psychic abilities, and being a witness of something. All right. The sun. The beginning of something new, making good choices, good health and vitality, healing, good news, and justice. The directions. Oh, the crossroads, sorry. The crossroads. Making a major life decision, unknown, stuck, being afraid of moving forward. Yikes. Well, we've all been there. Okay. Oh, this is the male, the man. Traditional male characteristics. Action, father, protecting loved ones, provider, being empowered. All right. The female rune, woman. Traditional female abilities and characteristics, being a healer, home, creativity, nurturing, and caring. All right, the scythe rune. The scythe, it looks like a little, well, a scythe. How else do you say that? It's a fancy little curved knife. Sudden changes and endings, making final decisions, completing tasks, and walking away from something or someone, and danger. All right, the harvest. Blessings, investing in yourself, rewards, providing for yourself, and education. And last but not least, one rune left, and it is the waves. Movement, a deep connection to the spiritual world. Things are out of control, insecurity, being in the flow, or overwhelmed. So kind of one or the other, right? Alrighty, so that is all of the runes. That is, and if you wanted to, you know, in the Katie Weaver, in my article over in Luminous, sorry, there is a chart there that shows you all of the runes as well and gives you descriptions. So that if you want to make your own, you have a little guide there to what they're supposed to look like and what they all mean. So now I'm going to put them all back in my bag. So of course I have a nice little bag to put them in. You want, with runes, you want a bag that's big enough for you to put your hand in so that you can reach in and grab. That's kind of how you do it with runes. So I'm going to put these guys all back in. I would say that these runes are going to be moderately fragile. I don't expect them to break, but I do expect them to beat each other up a little bit. So in my dealings with them, I'm probably not going to shake them very hard or get too wild with them, but that's, you know, depending on what they are. My old runes were rocks, so I could do whatever I wanted. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is so fun. Okay, Anna wants to know, why are they called witches' runes? Well, witches' runes, their past is a little murky. Different people have had different versions of witches' runes over the years. But the main idea behind witches' runes is they're symbols that are or have been useful in earth religions, Wiccan society, or anything to do with, you know, witchy ways. So some of the symbols are older than others and have had lots of meetings over the years, but this is what has been settled upon. I had researched a lot about where did witches' runes come from, and what I learned was pretty much nothing. That essentially where they came from was a compilation of people putting some together, and also no one's quite sure exactly where or when the idea of them started. However, the idea of divination and homemade divination is something that is something, an idea that goes back for time immemorial. There's all kinds of interesting things. Like one of my favorites is that if you drip molten wax or molten iron or ore into cold water while asking who you should marry, that you should get a shape from that you can divine that will give you the answer. Or putting nuts on the hearth and assigning a name to each of them, and whichever one gets hot and pops open first is the person you're supposed to marry, and so on and so forth. Ancient divination is a really fun study, actually, and it gives you some pretty fun ideas about things you might want to make or do for yourself. So, pretty cool. Alrighty, I'm going to jump back into the chat room here. All right, Jessica said, may I have a runes reading? I have been trudging along feeling like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I could use some help to shake it off. Yeah. So let's pull, how many? Yeah, okay. I'm going to pull 2. I just wanted to see exactly, with witches runes, you can read them like you would normal, like Nordic runes. You can read them like you would a tarot or oracle deck, or you can just trust yourself. And right now, I feel like, Jessica, I want 2 runes because I want an action, but I also want something for you to think about for the future. So I'm going to pull them both. All right. All right, so here's the action rune. It's the rings. So when the rings come up like this, it's really telling me that what we need for you is to connect you with some new people. You have been so overwhelmed with the care of others, taking care of your dad and taking care of other people. And I feel like it's just not left a lot of room for you to hang out with fun people, to do fun things, to get out of the house, and trudging along with the weight on your shoulders, indeed. But I know you're thinking, yeah, but where do I find those people? Well, I think that's really the key, Jessica, is that we've got to find some places for you to go, some groups for you to belong to. Consider things like spiritual churches that might resonate, or book groups, or drum circles, or healing circles, or metaphysical stores, or yoga for beginners, or whatever. But groups of like-minded-ish people, and it doesn't have to be new age, that's all I throw out there, but this could also be a cake decorating class for all I care, right? Just something that gets you around others. You really need the energy of other people that are feeling brighter and happier than what you've been around for the last while. So I do feel like that's helpful in that sense. I know it gives you a little anxiety to step out of your shell. And so I'm going to tell you what I said earlier in the show. Jessica, you are exactly who you're supposed to be. Don't be weird about it. Don't be self-conscious. Don't beat yourself up. Just find some places and allow yourself to belong there. I think that's been a hard thing for you, to just allow yourself to be where you are, to allow yourself to fit in. But we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to let you be where you need to be. So making some connections, okay? All right, so the second rune was the harvest rune. So the harvest rune usually comes in when investing in yourself pays off. So this was kind of the, what do we need to know? What's the next step moving forward? So here it is, right? This is it. Moving forward, providing for yourself, education, exactly what we were just talking about. So the payoff is a richness of life that you've been missing out on. So I really want you to think about it. I want you to brainstorm and make a list. Where could you go? What are things that you're interested in? What are things you could do? And you can do some things online, but I really want to see you do some things in person too. So that's for you to decide. But while I have you here, I do want to do a little clearing for you because you do feel so overwhelmed and overburdened. So, pardon me. I'm just taking a look at that back. Yep, there's so much worry, Jessica. Clear up your back. So, clearing all of that away, clear to your shoulders. I'm going to lift that big burden, that big boulder off of your shoulders and get rid of it. Let that energy flow clear to the top of your head. That's so much better. in your aura too. Let's clear your aura. It's pretty murky. That's not a good feeling. Okay, so moving all the way through your aura, clear to the top of your head and lifting that as well. Good. Lighter and brighter. Good. All right, let's start there and let me know if I can help in any way. You know I'm here for you. Okay, so runes back in the bag. All righty, let's see. Denise would like a rune reading. She said that sounds very interesting. This time of year has become one of unexpected major opportunities to grow. Neat. I've heard other people say that about their path as well, that this is the time of year for them. So I love it. We'll take it. All right, Denise, I'm going to pull one. So, aha, it is the moon. All right, so the moon speaks of long-term changes. Well, duh, we know. Also, secrets and imaginations. One thing that really comes up for me with you right now with the moon energy is that you need to be really clear on what you want and not dust any opportunity aside without really fleshing it out and hearing the whole thing. I feel like for you, sometimes, dreaming big feels unnatural to you, kind of silly maybe even. And right now, that's really what you're being asked to do is what do you really want? And that's the last part of it is, what do you really want? Because you have growth coming. I feel like there could be some big changes here. I feel like it could possibly be in employment, but it really could be in where you're living too. There's some real possibilities here for change. So what do you really want? Be clear about it, and it's okay to say it. And it's okay even if it's, might seem too big or too much or too facetious or impossible. Nothing is. But I do see long-term changes afoot, and I think that the moon energy supports that beautifully. The other thing I would do if I were you is really connect to the cycles of the moon right now. Sunday, of course, we have a new moon, and a new moon is a great time to start growing something new and starting something new. So this is great energy for you to work in. But I would pay attention to the moon cycles for the next while and continue to work with them as well. So interesting, Denise, to see where things go for you, but it does feel powerful and positive. So yay, we'll take it. All right, Christina said, may I have a runes reading about new beginnings or meeting new people? I finally put out a long friendship that has not been working for a while. Oh, put it in timeout. Got it. Okay. I think that's good, Christina. You needed some breathing room, I think. I feel like in that friendship, you found yourself constantly having to save the other person and never really feel like you could be completely authentic because you were protecting their feelings. And I think it's kind of great that right now, you don't have that energy in your life. I'm sure you miss it in some ways, but I also feel like it's kind of nice for you because you don't have to worry about how anyone else is feeling right now. You don't have to guard what you say, what you do, how successful you are, how happy you are, from hurting somebody else. You can just allow yourself to have that, and yay, you deserve that. All right, so there's all that before we pulled a rune. But here comes the rune. It is the rings. Okay, so I wish I had these runes memorized. We just don't use them enough. A couple of times a year. I should. Okay. I probably wouldn't. All right. Rings. Rings are circumstances that connect people. Interesting, right? Because it's just what you're talking about. I think that for you to meet somebody new, look at the rings. The rings are connected. You have the big ring in the center, the two on the sides, kind of like the Olympic rings. They are of connections. The key right now for you is to seek out people that vibrate where you vibrate. You are looking for emotionally healthy people. You're looking for people who do not have a real need for ego or to show up. I think that the advice that Jessica got about looking in places where people are that vibe like you is really important. So I'm going to say the same thing for you. Take a class. Go find a little spiritualist church that's doing something fun. Even you don't have to join, you don't have to go every week, but meet some people that way. Join a book group. Do some educational things. And for you, maybe it's in a bit of activism too, because I know you're a bit of an activist. And so you decide exactly how that looks, but I feel like you're right on track to be meeting some new people. And I think that you did yourself a big favor in pushing the pause button on that friendship. You are able to take a little time to have that room in your life, because that person, bless them, have clung so tightly to you. I think in some ways it's been hard to allow other things to form. So you're in a good place on that. So essentially, Christina, brainstorm, make a list, think about places that have people that frequent them that feel like you do. Same kind of vibe, same kind of frequency. And go there and see what they have to offer you. You might have to, come out of your little hidey hole a little bit, and that's good. Okay. I love it. All right, Jane. Jane says, totally listless and unmotivated the past few weeks. Well, hopefully the singing bowl work we did today made a difference for you. But let's get you a rune out as well. You got the rings as well? Weird. All right. Well, I never question it. So for you, again, this is about what connects people. So 2 things. Your mom is sick and struggling, and you were going to go and she told you don't come, and things have been weird with what she needs and how to help and support. And I think that, Jane, this has yanked you down harder than you realize. I think that you need to give yourself permission to let go of the burden of it. You are trying, you're doing the best you can for her and for you. And I think that just all of the planning and not planning and all of the chaos of this, you have gotten really knocked off your pedestal. And so I want to do a little clearing for you. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. But I'm going to really recommend that you give yourself permission to let go of this a little bit. You're doing the best you can. Don't let go of your mom. You're doing the best you can. But in the meantime, what have you been doing for fun? Have you been getting out of the house? Have you hung out with your friends at all? Have you done anything that wasn't just getting by for the past few weeks? You need to make a plan. I know that you have people, so get with them. Make a plan. Go do something fun for fun. You just need it. But I'm going to do a little clearing work here for you to help set you free from some of the shackles that are holding you down. That's exactly what they look like. They might be self-imposed. That's okay. All right, I'm going to pull all of that off of you and just send it into the earth. Really brighten you up, Jane. All right, I'm going to clear your aura too. One thing I've noticed is that the empaths have been seriously slimed as of late. Especially here in the US, the energy has been so intense and toxic. Regardless of what side you stand on anything, the empaths have just gotten their asses kicked. And I think you're a part of that. I know you're a part of that. And so just cleaning up your aura here should make a big difference too in brightening you up. Whew. Good. All right, let's just amp up that light a little more. Okay, I'm going to put some tangerine light around you, Jane, that just really helps to brighten and helps attract some good energy to you as well. I think you could use a little bit of both. Good. Okay, let me know if I can help, okay? Alrighty, moving right along, Geraldine. Okay. All right, it is the star. Can you see her? Okay. She kind of looks like a starfish, but she's supposed to be a star, so we'll go with it. The star is about going after what you want. It's about your life purpose. And I think, Geraldine, I know that you have struggled recently. You moved, you lost your brother. You've had a lot of stress in your life. And I wonder how much you have been able to really put some attention on what you would like. I know you're caregiving too. And so that's not always easy to, and I think you're still just settling in. And so I don't think it's always easy to really seize life and grab exactly what you want. I don't think this is about enormous dreams right now. I think it's about small things like Is your bedroom the way you would like it? Is your house arranged in the way that makes you the happiest? Would it behoove you to do something small, like go buy a new bedroom set? Like, I mean bedding, not new furniture. You know, would it pay to put a new picture on the wall? What do you need to just feel brighter and happier and more settled in your living space? That's what comes up for me more than anything, is be willing to recognize and make the changes that you need to be completely comfortable and happy where you are. So think about it. What's bugging you? You know, you have been extremely giving with your energy. You have been extremely willing to allow other people to be comfortable. That's just a big, you know, part of who you are. But what else do you need, right? Okay. Maureen. You guys, I don't do it on purpose. But Maureen, you also pulled the star. And you know what this is about. It's about going for what you want. So get yourself a new job. It's time. Get everything done. Go for it like you deserve it. Go for it like you mean it. You're going to get something. I know this is happening for you, but this is yet another little prod in the booty to you to get it done. Go. You've got everything you need to make this happen. So there you go, because the star says so. Okay. Let's see. Denise would love a rune. She's feeling a lot of change coming her way. All right, Denise. Okay, the rune is the man or the male. So this is usually an indication of masculine energy, and you're already feeling changes coming your way. I feel like this is a lot for you about being empowered. I feel like this is a lot for you about being willing to speak up. Changes are coming. They're going to come regardless, but how do you want them to come? Where do you want to go with them? You cannot afford, emotionally, physically, in any other way, you cannot afford these changes to happen to you as much as you happen with them. You cannot allow yourself to just have to go with whatever happens and shut up and suck it up and take it. You can't. You've done that so many times. Sometimes it's worked out fine. Sometimes it hasn't been that great. But ultimately this time, you can't. You have to dictate this. You have to speak up about the littlest things, right? If it's not exactly what you want, you have to get clear. You have to say so. You have to assert yourself. And that's where this masculine energy is coming in, is changes are coming. That much we know. But how you step into them and how you process through them is going to have a lot to do with what you say and what you are willing to allow. And you're not doing much this time. Well, no, I'm not going to, that didn't come out what I meant. You're not rolling over this time. This time as changes come in, you're not going to be a victim to them. You're going to be in charge of them. You're calling the shots. So I love it. I know it's what you need. I know you can do it. So get that mouth ready. And guess what? It doesn't matter if people don't like it. Okay? I think you really need to hear that. It does not matter if other people don't like it. You still need to say what you need to say unapologetically. Okay? They'll still like you at the end of the day, but this isn't about making friends. It's about making your life what you want it to be. Okay, well, we've done what we do. We've talked down to the end of the show. I want to let you know that I do have a video reading that is Witches Runes. I'm going to share it in the chat room, but you can go pick that up if you want to, and I will do a full reading for you and video it and then send it over to you. And of course, you can find that over at one2listen.com as well under my email readings. So that's how you do it. So I would love to do that for you. And we'll do Witches Runes next week too, because we're in that time of year. Thanks for being here, guys. I will be over at One2Listen for the rest of the day and evening and week to help you out. So you've been listening to the Katie Weaver Show here on One2Listen, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.